You guys, I am sitting in my car, and I'm sitting in my car giving myself my own little quiet five. And I'm thinking a lot about you, and I'm thinking about how I get to see you on Monday. I'm thinking about how excited we are to all see you on Monday. But I'm also thinking, wow, I'm kind of nervous. And I bet that a lot of you are feeling that too. You maybe feel a little bit nervous about seeing people again, about doing schoolwork again, maybe even about having to wear a mask at school. I'm sure that's something that maybe makes you a little bit nervous, and I get it. And I just want to tell you that right now I'm going to go through all of the things that you need to know so you feel a little bit less nervous going to school next week. Stay tuned. Hi, you guys. So I just took my quiet five. I feel much better now to talk to you a little bit about what this school year will look like. This is the staple. This is what you're going to see all the time, masks. So this is something so new for all of us. I had never worn a mask before until we heard about COVID-19. This is something really new to me, but I'm working on it. I'm working on being able to talk in this mask. I'm working on keeping my mask on all day. These are things that you haven't had to do yet, but I think we will quickly get used to. So I just want to explain to you when you'll see staff in masks and when you'll see students in masks, and when you are going to be expected to have your mask on. The first thing, when you get on the bus in the morning or whenever you arrive to school, your mask needs to be on. Your mask has to be on any time that we can't make sure that you're spaced out 6 feet from another person. That means unless a teacher has said, yep, this is a mask break where there's 6 feet of space between you and other kids and other staff, then you can have your mask off. We don't want to see kids ripping their mask off. You're not allowed to have it below your nose. Your mask is supposed to cover your nose and your mouth at the same time. So that mask stays on unless we've told you, yep, this is the time that you can take it off. Let me explain when some of those times will be. For teachers, it's never. Unless there's a chance where our whole class is outside and maybe all the students and all the staff are spaced out enough that teachers might be able to get a break also. But inside, you will never see us with our masks off. You might hear us say, hey, I'm going to step out for a second to another teacher. That might be because we're getting really hot or we're having a really hard time talking in this because we're getting used to it too. And I might say, hey, Mrs. Minus, can you finish up at this table? I'm going to go outside for a minute to get a mask break. So there might be times where we step out just to get a quick break, which is something that you are allowed to ask for too. The only time we might say, hey, can you try to wait a few minutes, is if I'm in the middle of teaching something or if I'm in the middle of giving a direction. Then we might say, wait till I'm done, and when you're allowed to work on your own, you can take a clipboard and go finish your work outside. Those are times where it would be fair for you to ask to go take a mask break. Outside is the safest place for us to take mask breaks. So we'll probably do things like read aloud outside. You'll probably get chances to do independent reading outside on your own. And you'll probably have chances to take work outside, whether it's your independent math station or other opportunities to finish work where you can get a mask break. I'm going to pull my mask down to finish talking, which you will not see very often. You will normally see me with my mask on, but to finish these, I'm going to have it off. So the other time where you might get a mask break is when the whole class says indoor mask break. That will not be at your desks. When you're at your desks, your masks will be on because they are not spaced 6 feet apart. Those indoor mask breaks will be when I have orange polydots, those like circles that you used in gym sometimes, spaced out around the room. And when I can make sure that those dots are 6 feet away from the other person's dot, then I will say everyone can take a mask break. If you are getting up from your poly dot to go to the bathroom or to wash your hands or to ask me a question, your mask goes back on. You never leave that dot unless your mask is on. There might be times where I say, oh, surprise mask break, And it's because there's only 2 kids left in the classroom, and one is seated over there on a computer and the other one's over there, and they're not even close to 6 feet near each other. So if we have that much space and there's only a few kids in the room, I might say, hey, you guys, you can take your masks off. And trust me, the teachers know it's not going to be easy for you because we're going to be in it all day. It's not going to be easy for us either. So we're going to know, wow, I feel like I need a mask break. These kids probably need a mask break. And we're going to give you lots of chances to take them off. We just have to make sure that we're doing it in a safe way. And we hope you can understand that. That's a little bit about masks. If you have questions or your parents have questions, please let me know. Make sure you have it on when you're riding the bus in the morning. Make sure you have it on as soon as you get to me. For some reason you've forgotten it and somehow you still made it to school without getting asked to put one on, I can give you one at school that you can throw away at the end of the day. Let us know if you have questions with that or if you're going to need some help getting used to it. Try to practice this weekend before school starts on Monday, keeping that mask on for a little bit longer than you might have thought. It's kind of fun. I don't know. It's kind of a different thing. It's like wearing a Halloween costume all day long. So good luck with it. I'm excited to get to learn how to do this with you. We're all learning together and we're all getting used to it together. So hang in there. All right, more. Stay tuned. All right, you guys, another new piece of information that I want to give to you is a little bit about our classroom setup. Like I said before, we might be going outside a lot in order to get mask breaks. Outside, there will be some chairs that we can use, and we might have a special surprise for you that we're going to talk to your parents about for you to use when you go outside for those mask breaks as well. But in the classroom, things do look a little bit different. We're pretty bummed. We had to take out our futon, our IKEA chairs, our bean bags, the big moose, the tent, just some of those comfy things that we normally would use. We don't have in the classroom right now. So in order to make your space a little more fun, there are little lights underneath each of your desks. You'll each have your own clipboard. You'll each have your own divider. So those cardboard dividers we used last year, you'll have a big one and you'll get to decorate it just like you'll get to decorate the clipboard. So those are some things that you'll get to have all to yourself. You'll see a picture after this video of what it looks like underneath your desk if you use your divider to kind of enclose your space. And I'll also have a pillow that will be just for you that you'll be able to use under your desk for reading times, quiet work times, times that we might want to turn off the lights to just cool it down in the classroom. So those are some fun things coming your way. I'm excited to show you everything when you get back next week. Some other things you'll find in your desk. You'll have a whole container of goodies. So in goodies, I mean school supplies. So you'll have a head scratcher that's your own. You'll have your own timer. You'll have your own putty, a sensory toy, and then you'll have tons of supplies like dry erase marker, your headphones, markers, color pencils, crayons, glue sticks, scissors, all of the things that you might need throughout the day, and we'll be able to actually provide you just with paper as you need it to, or lined paper, white paper, whatever you need to draw, doodle, things to help us get through the day. So those things will be provided for you. One thing that I plan on providing, and parents, you'll want to listen up to this, I plan on providing a water bottle for you. If you have your own water bottle, we would actually ask that you would use your own. If you don't have your own water bottle, then you'll want to let me know, and I can give you a water bottle on the first day. That water bottle, though, we want you taking back and forth each day and washing it at home instead of us having to wash it every day at school like we were doing in the past. The other thing that would be really helpful is if kids would come to school with water bottles already filled up. So parents, if you could help your child remember to fill up their water bottle before they come to school, that would be super helpful so that we don't have to help with all of the filling all day long too. We can help with refills, but if it's filled up when they get here, that will just make life easier so that we're not spreading germs. So that would be something helpful. Snacks, like we talked about. Snacks, please bring your own snack. Please bring one for the morning and one for the afternoon. If your child forgets, don't worry, there will be a snack for them. But snacks will be provided from the office this year if a child forgets, which means if I have 5 kids saying, Miss VanRemmen, I need a snack, I'm going to say, well, we're only going to be able to send one kid at a time. So they might have to wait a little bit when they might be a little hangry. Kids, you might get a little frustrated. So try to remember to bring your own snack, and that way you don't have to go walk down to the office to get one each day. All of those snacks that will be passed out as extras will come from Mrs. Mack instead of from me. If you had already bought some bulk snacks to donate to the classroom, we are still more than happy to accept those. We're really grateful. That could be used for either Fun Friday snacks, or we can keep that stashed down in the office with Mrs. Mack that she just will only share with our kids instead of with other classes. If you bought bulk snacks for your child, great, send those in. We'll keep them in their locker instead of sharing with the rest of the class. They can have their bulk snacks set aside, or we can find room in the classroom if it's too big to keep in their locker. No problem. So those are a little bit about your school supplies. If you have questions, let me know. The other thing that's really important that you'll see also in a picture after this video is we need art kits. So instead of using the art materials in the art room, we're going to bring our own. Parents, this would actually be really helpful if you would supply this on your own. If you're unable to, let me know and we'd be happy to get a kit together. I have a feeling, the way I've seen desks in past years, that it might be hard for them to grab all of their markers, color pencils, supplies, whatever it is that they need to take to art out of their desk and put in a baggie each time we have to go down to art. It might be easier if the art bags are separate than the supplies that they have in their desk. So if you would consider purchasing the materials in the picture for the Art to Go kit, that would be super helpful, and putting them in a gallon-sized baggie would be great. If you don't have one, we can put it in a baggie for them. So yeah, those are some supplies. If you have questions, things that would always be appreciated: extra tissues, extra baggies, lined paper for the classroom, any extra supplies for the room would obviously be appreciated. Things that I mentioned before, your child might want their own sensory tools, send them in. The less sharing we can do, the better. Coloring books, mazes, any kind of little activity book that they might want to use at their desk for any downtime, or take outside for a mask break, those things would be great. So any of those things are welcomed, and we'll figure out a way to make them usable. So thank you for all your help, all your support, and let me know if you need any help getting any of those supplies for your child. The next thing that I want to talk to you kids about is about just some things that you might notice throughout the day that might be tweaked a little bit from last year. The first thing is our morning bins. We will still be doing morning bins because we have a way of disinfecting those tools and activities before they're used by a new student the next day. However, morning bins, you won't go grab yourself anymore. We will have them ready at your desks when you come in the morning, so you can just start playing, and you will not be able to share bins or trade bins. That is a time that you could be talking to your peers, probably at a level 1, but you're not moving around from your desk. You're not going and sharing another bin with another kid. You're just using your bin that's been given if you don't like your bin that day. That's why having some of your own sensory tools or activity packets that you like and enjoy in your desk, you're always welcome to do that instead of using your bin. When bins are done, they will need to be sanitized, which means you'll take over your bin to a teacher. And when teachers are cleaning things like that, we will not only have to have on our mask, but we'll also have to have on a shield. So don't be scared. They're kind of fun. It looks like I'm an astronaut. But I'm going to wear the shield, or Mrs. Costin, or Mrs. Minus, Mrs. Tutt, Mrs. Porter, Mrs. Davis, whoever it might be who's cleaning, they'll have on a mask and a shield, and you'll know that that's the person to take your bin to, and they'll help disinfect. Those toys then will not be used until the next morning at morning bins. We won't use them at all throughout the day other than morning bin time, so that they have the proper wait time to disinfect. The other thing that might look a little bit different, which I already mentioned, is quiet fives. When you go to a quiet 5, there will not be tools at the quiet 5 for you. There will still be a timer that a teacher can set, but you're going to want to bring your own supplies. Bring your own putty or your own sensory toys that either you've brought or I've given to you to take over there. as soon as you've been asked to go take a quiet 5 just to help your body reset before you get back to learning, then we will say, hey, go to your desk really quick and grab what you need. If you're starting to get frustrated during that, or you're yelling at us, or it's becoming disruptive to the class, we'll say, okay, we don't have time to go get your tool, or I'll go get your tool for you. And you can just go have a seat and somebody will bring you your tool. If it's becoming too frustrating, we'll say, okay, we're not gonna have a tool. So that's what quiet 5s will look like, similar to before, just not sharing the tools. Again, just for safety and not spreading germs. The other thing that could look a little bit different is the classroom store. We'll probably have less items in there, so you're not just shuffling through all the things when you go to buy. You will still be able to look through on your own, we think. It might have to change at some point where you're online shopping and you're making your choices on a menu, and we'll go get them for you. But we think to start, you should be able to kind of shuffle through the bins and find what you want on your own, as long as you've used sanitizer, hand sanitizer, before you go shop. Every time before you touch stuff that other people are going to be touching, we'll have to use hand sanitizer. The money for Classroom Store and that you get for levels and for your point sheets, that money will still be given to you, but you will never really touch the money. I will show you how much you've made and I'll help put it in there for you. We'll count it out together, and then when you go to shop, you'll have a sticky note that has your total that you're allowed to spend, and the teachers will help take out how much money you owe and tell you how much money you have left. Kind of like a credit card instead. You're putting the money in the bank and we tell you how much you can go spend. That's a little bit about store. The other thing that might look a little bit different is the classroom library. When you want to go pick out books, you're not just going to be able to go and walk over and grab something. You're going to have to wait until a teacher has called you up to look for books, or you've asked a teacher to go over and look at books with you. So you will, again, have to use hand sanitizer before you shuffle through which books you want to pick. Once the books are in your bin, you don't have to hand sanitize every time you go to read them. But when you're done reading a book and you want it to go back in the library for other kids to use, we'll have a dirty book bin. That book will have to stay in the dirty book bin for 1 day. So if you put it in at the end of the day Tuesday, nobody else can use that book again until the end of the day on Wednesday. So the dirty book bin gives the book time to kind of clean off on its own. The germs will all be gone by then, and then it can go back in the library the next day. So that's a little bit about the classroom library. The other thing that you'll be doing is you'll be checking in and out with me at the beginning and end of every day. That might sound weird, or it might sound strange, or it might sound like a pain, but really it's only going to be 1 minute. We'll set a 1 minute sand timer. I will have to pause the sand timer if we're not staying focused, but it will be 1 minute. It will happen for 1 minute during your morning bin time and 1 minute during your tech time at the end of the day. Here's a little secret. I made your tech time longer, so you're only missing 1 minute, but you're getting like 4 more. So you're really not losing any tech time, so don't try telling me that you have. I'm giving you extra. So you have 1 minute to spare to come work with me, and all I'm going to ask you is a few questions. Hey, how are you feeling? Are you stressed? Are you happy? Are you excited? Are you worried? Do you have any questions for me? And you'll get to choose which questions you want to answer. You might want to tell me one thing you think you did well that day, or one thing you're excited about, or it might be something you're really worried about, or something you're mad about. You get to tell me those things. I just want to check in and see how you're doing. We all have had a hard time adjusting to some different things since COVID-19 has changed our normal, and it's important that we're just open with each other and we have those conversations. You're not in trouble. I'm not yelling at you. I just want to check in and see how you're doing. So we're going to do that in the beginning of the day and the end of the day, 1 minute during your morning bins and 1 minute during your tech time that you'll come and talk with me. Perfect. So those are just some things that will look a little bit different in the classroom this year. The rest is for your parents. So kids, you're free to go. Enjoy the rest of your night or day whenever you're watching this, and I cannot wait to see you on Monday. All the teachers are super excited to see you. Even though you'll be in your masks, we're hoping that you're coming with big smiles on your faces, even when we can't see them. And we are just so excited to see you back at school. It has been way too long. So enjoy your last weekend of summer, and we will see you on Monday. Parents, this has been a season of information overload, and I can't even imagine all of the things that you have swirling around in your head, all the questions you must have, and I hope that these videos, not only for your kids, but for you, are helpful. And so in this video, I'm just going to give you a little bit of information that really is only pertinent to you. Yes, you may want to chat with your child about it or coach them in preparation for next week, but these are things that I wanted to tell you directly so that you could then decide how you wanted that to be delivered to your student. So the first thing that will be a little bit different is point sheets. While we still use point sheets as our form of data collection, we have found that at the end of the day, when we give students their point sheet to look at and reflect, we often engage in a battle. So a student sees that it's been a tough day, and instead of being able to process that, hey, we all make mistakes and tomorrow will be better, we see meltdowns and we see arguments and we see kids getting on the bus frustrated, and that's not healthy for anyone. It's especially not healthy during this season of COVID-19 when your families, the community, the school, our world are just shifting and changing in so many ways. We don't need to add to the stress of our kids. So at the end of the day, instead of giving them their point sheet to take home and look at and panic about on the bus and worry about, we will be sending pictures instead. The method in which we send pictures will be through an app called Class Dojo. In this email, you'll have seen information surrounding Class Dojo that will teach you how to upload the app on your phone, and I will be sending you an invitation so that you can add our classroom. You'll be added as a parent, and what will happen is I'll be able to upload point sheets at the end of every day to your student's profile. We won't use Class Dojo for points, for any kind of behavioral tracking other than to upload the point sheet. So when we upload the picture of the point sheet, the way your child earns money in the classroom store, instead of a signature, they will earn money when you viewed that picture and you've hit the like button. So similar to Facebook, you're going to get a notification, or I think you can set it so that you get a notification. You get a notification on your phone, oh, so-and-so's point sheet came through. You look at the point sheet, you hit like, I know you viewed the point sheet, your child gets a quarter the next day. I am hoping this eliminates our use of the carbon copies of the point sheets. It will be a more efficient method, hopefully easier for you to remember to take a look at because it will pop up on your phone versus having to get their folder out and check in their folder every day, find a pen, all of that. So hopefully this is an easy method for us. If at any point you have feedback and think this is a bad change, please let me know. We can obviously tweak things for individual students as well, but we're going to try Class Dojo. So pay attention to the details in the email on how to get that set up. The other thing that I really wanted to have a conversation with you about, and I kind of mentioned to the kids, but is the use of face masks and face shields. So the legislation says that we do have to be wearing face coverings, both adults and students. That means your child cannot come to school in a face shield. It has to be some kind of cloth disposable covering. The covering has to be covering their mouth and their nose at all times. That might be something that is reconsidered later on, where maybe we offer things called mask relief, where we say, okay, you can, because everyone's facing the same direction, nose can come out to alleviate difficulty breathing or to alleviate the heat. So those are some things that will be potentially in the works, but to begin the year, your child will be expected to have the mask over their mouth and their nose anytime that 6 feet social distance cannot be maintained, whether that's inside or outside. So please coach them up with that. Please make sure that they're in a mask that is comfortable for them, that they're used to wearing. Have them practice wearing a little bit this weekend. Teachers practice wearing them for a full day at staff meetings the other day. And I get it, it's hard. And we're not pretending like it's easy, and the kids will know that it will be hard on us too, and that's why we'll have lots of breaks. So please just encourage them that it will be okay. Let me know how I can help and support in that. The only way in which your child is exempt from wearing a mask as if there is a doctor's no. And that process entirely goes through Andy. So if you have questions about getting approved for an exemption, you would need to go through Mr. Secor. The principals know far more about that than we do. So that's a little bit about masks. Face shields we will wear anytime we're doing disinfecting or cleaning. So when we are using chemicals, we will not only have our face mask on, but we will have a face shield on. So your kids will see us in face shields at various points throughout the day. The other time in which we might consider using a face shield is during seclusion or restraint, most likely during restraint, in which we have to go hands-on with the child. If we are having to physically move your child for safety reasons, obviously that is always our last resort, but because of the proximity in which we're engaged with your child at that point, not only for the safety of your child, but for our safety, shields may need to go on at times. The other thing during that process, again, like I said, seclusion and restraint is always our last option. It's not something we enjoy doing, but is at times something we must do in order to ensure the safety of students and staff. And if that were to occur, because social distancing is not possible when you're physically hands-on with a child, like I said, we may be wearing shields, but because your child's arms may be unable to pull off their own mask at that time if they were to start having trouble breathing, we will be removing their mask at the beginning of any kind of transport or any kind of restraint. So we will remove their mask for them. We will try to keep ours on and a shield, and then we will get them over to a safe space. Once they're in a safe space, we will try to physically disengage as quickly as possible, or we will avoid physically engaging in the first place. We might just leave a child in a room, let the room get destroyed, and just clear out the rest of the class. One of the things that becomes a priority now is social distancing and maintaining the health and safety of staff and students. And so the less we have to enter one another's space, the safer we all will be. If we have transported over to a seclusion room, or we are in a space where we may need to create separation again, but the student is unwilling to let us leave on our own, seclusion may be used in order to assure 6 feet of social distance. It is our hope that that does not have to happen. So the reason I'm telling you this now is it would be my hope that you would talk with your child, that if at any point a staff member is with them in crisis and wants to stay with them in crisis in order to support them through that, while we recognize proximity is important, it is simply not safe right now to do that for long periods of time. So we would ask that you would tell your child in those moments to really do their best to let staff create space, whether it be on the opposite side of the room or right outside the door. Let them create space so that social distancing can be maintained and the staff is able to maintain communication with the child rather than having to utilize seclusion entirely. So those are just some changes and some things that obviously look different given our current circumstances. And I'm sorry, I'm sure this is a lot of information and it's overwhelming, and I'm always a phone call or a text away. So please let me know your questions. Please let me know your concerns. There are a lot of things that you may ask or be concerned about that I have no control over. And I hope that you would give grace to me in those circumstances and recognize that our administrators are taking the directive of the state, the health department, the ISD, the federal government. There are a lot of directives being given that we are just all doing the best to implement as best we can for the safety and well-being of your children. So I thank you for your grace and understanding in advance. Please come to me with your questions, your thoughts, your ideas, and I want you to know that our goal in the first few weeks from Mr. Secor was your learning targets are fun and safety, and if we can end the first week of school with your kids coming home and saying, I felt safe and I had fun, then we've done our job. So I thank you for your support this last year. I thank you for the support that you'll continue to give this year, and please let me know how I can help. We may not see you physically in person for a while, but we are so excited to see your kids in person on Monday. Have a great rest of your summer this last weekend. Take care.